Hello everybody, we are going to continue from where we left off. Last week we took too long, so we're going to continue. So let me just go forward. We started to talk about data blocks and the importance of them. This was the agenda. We basically covered the first section beginning with data blocks, and we went through basically those three items there. So we're going to continue with the rest of this. We're going to do some interesting things today. Right, so there it was global 1. We spoke about the 0 and 1 and all the other bits, especially these for programming. And then we spoke about ASCII. Remember the null character where the numbers are. The ASCII character is a 48 in hex. Well, sorry, 48 is the number, 30 in hex, and there is where the normal alphabet is. And remember the space bar is not a null character, it's a 20. It's an example of a string with a maximum length of 8. It had cake actually in it as characters, and it's actually got a length of 4. Then we spoke about control relays and how we set those up, and then we went on to talk about a parameter DB, and that is where we stopped then. Right, so let us continue. So let's talk about SCADA and why we must always remember when we're designing the PLC program what we want to see on the screen. So generally a screen layout, you could have just a blank screen. So let me go and literally start Wonderware here, InTouch Window Maker. I'm going to create a new application, make it simple, make it easy, call it Test 01, and we can leave that, it's not a problem. So now I'm going to open it, and this is Window Maker. Oops, there's Window Maker, there's absolutely nothing in it. So now I can start to create graphics and tags, etc. So let me go and create a graphic called Area 01, and you'll see over here it's got a setting for the size. It starts at 0. So quickly, the whole screen layout is pixelated, so it starts at pixel 4. 0 is the first one, not 1. First number is 0. From 4 and 4 up to 632. So if I just click it, there is the screen. And just quickly in Wonderware, there's a window properties. You can get that and you can go and look at it. Now there's some controls, title bar, etc. We can just talk about that now. So now if I literally go and view that, if I go runtime, there is Wonderware. It's running. The InTouch is running. Now notice two things. There is a title bar and there is a menu. Now this can be I'll give you a warning. You don't want people to see the menu bar because they can start to fiddle and do and halt logic and reinitialize IO, and they can go to the development even if you've closed it. So we want to hide the menu bar. And also if I go and minimize the screen, then the guy's not actually watching the screen, so he doesn't know that there's anything wrong. So we want to actually make sure that this graphic is almost can't change it. So literally he's got no navigation away in Windows to go somewhere else. So we want to hide the title bar and we want to hide the menu bar. So anyway, so I can just go back to Window Maker. No, I can't. I need to close that. So I close Window Viewer, which is the running app, and I'm going to go to the menu and I'm going to configure two places. First, Window Maker. Let me go back to my graphic. I want to show you something. So you notice on the graphic it's got these little dots. That is the grid pattern. So what will happen is if you add a rectangle here, it will snap to that grid. So literally we'll keep it down the bottom here. Look, there's an X of 180 and 110. If I move it, it goes in tens because the grid is set at 10. Now you can make the grid 1, that would just be defeating the object. You can make it 5, but it allows you to make sure that when you position things, they line up. Just makes it neater. Take the grid off. If I actually want to make 3 of these like this, I'm going to try my best to line them up, but they're not lined up. You can actually see here, this one, the vertical is at 29, the Y. This one is at 29, luckily. That one's at 26, so why don't they line up? So if I literally just go snap to grid again, I click and I move it, it's on 20. If I now move that one, it's also on 20. And that one's on 20 as well. Now, you can also do this. If I go and select all 3, here's the arrange buttons. I can arrange to top and they will align, but they're still not on a nice number. They're 64. I can go down one with an arrow or up to 60, and now they're nicely aligned, but also they're not spaced nicely. So I can use this button to space them nicely, and there we go. Anyway, so that gives us a screen. So if I save it and I go back to runtime, now I have some blocks on the screen. Still haven't fixed my menu, but that was, remember, the grid is set to 10. So I'm going to go into my menu here, and I'm going to go to Window Maker, and I'm going to see the grid is 10. I'm going to leave that on for the moment. I normally put this tag count on. It's very useful just to see how many tags you got. It's asking you to restart. You don't have to start it for this. And we're going to go back to Window Maker, Window Viewer settings, and we're going to turn two things. We're going to switch the menu bar off. Now what it means is the menu bar is still there, but it's hidden. We're also then going to hide the title bar. So that means if I apply that, now if I open now my graphic and I go to runtime, see, now there's no menu bar. There's no menu bar, there's no window title bar, but the window itself has got a title bar that we can fix now. But this graphic, you can see, is not at the top. Remember, it was set at 4 and 4, so it's 4 in and 4 up. Now there's nothing really wrong with that, but I like to use the whole screen size, what they call the real estate. So we have got full 1024 in this example by 768. I'll just show you. If I go to my screen resolution, 1024 by 768. So I'm going to just go back to Window Maker or Window Viewer, and I'm going to turn that title bar off. See, I can still move it because I have a title bar. But now, if I go and open that graphic in Window Maker, I can actually switch that title bar off. See, title bar, I can change the size. So now you can't literally change the size. I'm going to put it at 0 and 0, and I'm going to make this the full screen, 768. And there we are. So now I've got my full screen. If I go runtime now, see, now my screen is fully the full size of the screen. Now I have control of all the real estate on that screen. But now, let me go and create another graphic, area 2, area 02, and I'm going to make it the same size. You can copy and paste or duplicate, but let's just do that. Let's take all of these off. I'm going to save that. So now, if I go here, I'm on area 1. How do I know I'm on area 1? I don't know. But how do I open area 2? Remember, the menu is still there. So if I go Alt space, here's the menu. That's not true. Alt. It's supposed to work. It's not helping. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. Let's go back. So now I want to create some navigation buttons. Let me go back to my PowerPoint quickly. You see now, actually, this is a standard format, which we normally use, because remember, you might have 20 area displays. You might have detail display, etc. And you've then got to create navigation buttons on every one of them to go from screen to screen. So we normally then put a general navigation bar down the bottom with some buttons, which allow us to mark this as area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you click on it, doesn't matter what is on the screen, you then go there. You go direct to that screen. We put something at the top, which is the title bar, and which we have in the top left-hand corner. If you remember in DB1, there was a thing called rotator. We want to know that what we're seeing on the screen is actually live. So we create a little counter in the PLC which runs from 0 to a number, and if it changes, then this part of the screen will start changing. And on this side we put the username, so it's a standard look and feel for all graphics. But now you notice that title bar is taking up part of the screen, so we've actually lost part of the screen here, and we've lost part of the screen there. And as these screens get bigger and bigger, you know, the nice fancy HD screens, they get wider and wider. So the screen then can be split into different areas, but that's for another day. Okay, so let's go back to Window Maker, and I'm going to just make sure I'm on area, well, let me take area 2 here, and I'm going to create a title bar. So let me just go quickly to this button. This is a very nice button. It keeps the line horizontal or vertical. If you use a free flow one, you've got to align it yourself. See, now it's very hard to make that align. And you'll notice down the bottom, if I just click on it, has now a height of 25. That means that it's 25 pixels out. So I've got to try and get that to literally 1. And it's still not right. It must be 0. So I click there. Now the line is horizontal. That's just a waste of time. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to use this one. If I draw it, literally it's straight every time. If I draw another one, it's always straight. If I move it, see, it can only be vertical or horizontal. So I'm going to make a title bar, and you see now if I click on it, it tells me where it is. It's at 56. So if I want to make that 46, say 40, let me put the grid on again, and let me turn it up. Now it's exactly 40. I go left till it's at 0. Now I want to make the length, the full length of the screen. So now I've got to go here, and I'm going to just literally, I can make it actually longer, it doesn't matter. It's actually showing me that it's 1020. The screen is technically 1024. Anyway, so you can see it's slightly shorter, but that's fine. So now, notice now I've got to go and put that onto both screen, area 1 and area 2. So if I go to area 1 now, you see this doesn't have my title bar. So I've got to go and add that line over here. And if I just quickly go all the way to 0 and 40, now I've duplicated the title bar, on the title area on both screens. Now that's simple to do with 2 graphics, but if you have 20 graphics, and now you want to change something on this title bar, it makes it really difficult. You're going to have to go to every graphic and change it. So I'm now going to modify this, and I'm going to create my own separate title bar screen, or title area there, and I'm going to call it title, whoops, I'm getting title bar, and it's going to be 00, it's going to be 1024, but it's only going to be 40 wide. And there, that one is there. So now I've got, let me change the color of that screen so that we can make sure that it's true. Let's make it nice color blue. So there's my title bar. So now I've created, well, I've done changes to all those screens. I go here. What's going to appear when I do? So now there's the title bar, but no other graphic is there. So now you've actually got to tell Wonderware that it must show both at the same time. It must show at least, it must start with what they call a home screen. I'm going to go back here, go back to my configuration window viewer, and there is what they call home windows, and I'm going to say I always want to start up with title bar and area 1. So now it will always show that. So if I go runtime, this is interesting. Now it doesn't show it because I started Wonderware or window viewer from Window Maker. So I'm going to literally close that, go back to my menu bar, and I'm going to start window viewer from here. And see, there it is. It's only got one graphic. That's interesting. Let me go and see. My menu bar doesn't like to work anymore. Okay, so what I wanted to get to was, let me open up my title bar. Title bar is there. I want to open up area 1. I've actually now got to change area 1 to start 40 down. So if I go down and I make this start at 40, got to shorten this by 40. Now you can see it's automatically shown like that. There's my menu bar. I can actually take this off now because my title is separate. And this is area 1. I can prove that if I go back to area 1 here. Take that little thing off there. I copy this thing. I'll just duplicate it. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the screen. Let me put this over here. Save it. Flip to window viewer, and you can see there's my title bar, and now this box is on the full extent of area 1. Now, how do I get to area 2? I don't know there is an area 2. So if we don't have a navigation bar like we show over here, we now literally need to go onto area 1, and we're going to put a button on the screen, and we're going to say here's a button, and we're going to change the text. There's a shortcut to change the text, otherwise you've got to go text, no, edit, substitute tags, no, that's not what it is. Control L is what I use. Substitute strings, that is there. Edit, substitute string. No, that didn't work. There it is. Control L. Control L. Let's make that a button that says area 02 and put it on like a symbol, like a dash. Now we want that to go to area 2. So let's now double click that button and create just a show window, and we're going to make it go to area 2. So that button is there. Now, to be clever, I want the buttons to be the same size, look and feel. So I'm going to press Control C here on the screen. I'm going to copy it and save that window. I can open up area 2. I'm going to literally take that off again. I'm going to change the color of area 2 just so that we know that it's a different screen. And now on this screen, I'm going to put that button over here, press Control V, window, and now I need to change the text. I want it to point left, say, and I'm going to make it do this, area 01. So if I save all my graphics, go back to Window Maker, there's a button. I can now navigate to area 2. Now area 2 is the full screen, so it's gone and hidden my title bar. So now I've got to go and change it. Let's just go back to area 1. We didn't make a function because it's still got the same, we copied the button. So let's go and change that to area 1, save it, save our graphics, go back here, and now what's happened? Our title bar's gone. So let's go and fix area 2's screen. Makes that start at 40. Let's shorten that by 40. Save it. And now I've got to find that title bar. So worst case, we shut down Window Viewer. We go back to our menu. We start Window Viewer again. There, our title bar's back. Everything's fine. We've got area 2. There's area 2. Go back to area 1. Now what happens if we had an area 52? That's hidden. That's the secret project. We don't have that. We could actually create a function key. We could do all sorts of things. But I believe the best thing to do is create a navigation bar down the bottom here, which might take, say, 40 pixels at the bottom. So then area 1 becomes smaller. So let's go back to our, so that is what we want to do. So that is the target. So let's go back here. Let's close that window viewer for the moment. Let's go back to our graphic. Now we want to create another screen here called navigation, and now it's going to be at the bottom. So straight away, let's say we want to make it let's say we want to make it 100 deep, same width, but now we want it to start right at the bottom. So 768 minus 100 is 668, and we're going to make that menu bar black. What the hell? Here we go. And now if I open that, there's my menu bar. So I've now created 100 pixels here. So area 2, we've got to put 100 off this. So now it comes to 628. And if I open up area 1, it is open. I want to change that also to 628. Remember, oh, where's my button gone? You see? So now we've got to be very careful. So if I literally just change it back, I've got to change it back. Then I've got to find this and I've got to move it up a bit. So then I'll change the screen again. 6 to 8. And now I can move it a bit down. And it's still there. So now I want to take this button, I want to put it over here. So let me take this aerial 2 and I'm going to cut it. So Control X, got to go to my navigation bar and I'm going to put it there. I'm going to go to area 2 and I'm going to cut that button off there. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put it here. Okay, so let me just arrange these nicely. I can take those little arrow things off. Take this one, Control L, take the arrows off. Now I'm just going to align them because my grid is off. I'm going to just make them nice and neat, save everything, and I'm going to go to window. And so let me do that. So I'm going to go to my window viewer and adjust this, and I'm going to add navigation as a home window. So now if I save everything, I'm going to start window viewer. There we go. We've got a title bar. We've got our area 1. You can see now it's less of the real estate, but I've got 2 buttons. So now wherever I am, I can choose to go to any screen I want. And if you're now going to have lots of buttons here, you must always try and make these buttons the same size and maybe 2 rows, and you can have a lot of functionality built into your navigation bar. And that is what we're trying to achieve here. Alright, so just to recap, comms check at the top, the title bar with some titles in it, the username, the main display, and the navigation. And we can put some control and indicators. Right, if you're working with HMIs, I'm not a fan of HMIs, but again, they have the same problem that the screen is quite small, and if you don't actually put function key displays on the screen, you actually don't know what the button does. So you, instead of putting F1 there, you might say menu or area 1, area 2, etc. But also notice now your screen gets even smaller on already a small screen. So now to make this text small and cryptic makes it a little bit difficult. And HMIs become very small, and you can't see a lot of the plant. And now just think in the future, we're all going to be wanting to control the plant from our smartphone and our tablet, and the actual display area is going to be smaller and smaller and smaller. So you've got to be very careful of what you're going to put on the screen, but that's for another day.